Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this edition of the Wrestling Forum as we are going to recap Hell in a Cell as it was held tonight on the WWE Network. My name is Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio. Unfortunately, Michael Bullock will not be with us tonight. It's basically the two dudes with attitudes running a two-man weave. So, with that said, we're just going to dive right in and we're going to start with, well, we're gonna give you the pre-show fight first. We're not gonna review it. We're not gonna talk about it. We're gonna save you guys the time. The pre-show fight we had was actually a six-man tag team fight, as it was Antonio Cesaro, Dolph Ziggler, and Adrian Neville versus Rusev, Sheamus, and King Barrett. The winners of that fight was actually the winner of the match was the team of Ziggler, Adrian Neville, and Cesaro, as Neville got the red arrow on King Barrett. So, with that said, let's get right into the main card, and it starts out with a shocker. The United States Heavyweight Championship on the line, as it's John Cena putting it on the line in his John Cena United States Invitational Open. So, first off, we get Zeb Coulter. So you're thinking, all right, maybe it's Jack Swagger, you know? Swagger and Coulter worked together for at least a little bit of a while. So you're thinking, all right, so it's probably gonna be Swagger who's gonna take the fight. Oh no. And this caught everybody by surprise. John Cena's opponent tonight, Alberto Del Rio. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Alberto Del Rio is back in the WWE, and more importantly, the winner of the bout and no United States Heavyweight Champion Alberto Del Rio. He beats John Cena. He is the new United States champion. Anthony Florio, you lead off.
All right, thank you very much indeed, Cerebral Viper, Michael Fletcher. Hello, friends. It is ridiculously over. Anthony Florio here with you for this Hell in a Cell recap edition of the Wrestling Forum. Delighted to be here as always, and we're delighted to have you with us as well here on Braves Fan 95, a part of the Strictly Sports family of networks. Oh my goodness. I could probably say it was about 2 to 2.5 stars. That's the best I could give it, to be quite honest with you. I mean, it was only about a 7.5-minute fight from what I remember reading on ProWrestling.net. You know, my Bible when it comes to reviews, you know. Can't get into it right now. There's obviously got to be a lot of traffic on it right now. That's my guess. But I'm hoping that Michael Fletcher can get into another review site and try to get the times of all the falls here. But I remember this one was a good 7.5 minute or so fight, maybe 7.5 to 8 minutes long, from what I know. But 2 to 2.5 stars is the best I can give it. But there were possible rumors about Alberto Del Rio coming back to the WWE. You know, I guess it's clear to say that the Lucha Underground thing probably didn't work out for him, even though I know he was a major mainstay over there. But it's great to see Alberto Del Rio back, and it's even better to see Zeb Coulter back. I mean, you know, Zeb Coulter's been gone for, you know, God knows how long. He's been gone forever. But great. I mean, this is an interesting pairing here because, you know, Del Rio and Coulter, you know, there was a lot of history there. You remember a couple of years ago going into WrestleMania 29, the feud with Alberto Del Rio and Jack Swagger over the World Heavyweight Championship, and you know, they had a feud there, and you know, a lot of things went down with that. But obviously, these two are now in cahoots, and I'm intrigued. I mean, I like this pairing. I mean, I think Del Rio and Coulter could be a nice combo there. I really do. So that's all I can say on that. It's also sweet revenge for Alberto Del Rio too, Fletch, because, you know, John Cena on 2 occasions took World Heavyweight Championships off of Alberto Del Rio. You remember, Night of Champions, 2011 in Buffalo. John Cena took the WWE Championship from Alberto Del Rio. 2 years ago at this very event, Hell in a Cell, 2013 in Miami. John Cena did it to Alberto Del Rio again. This time it was for the World Heavyweight Championship. So this is definitely sweet revenge and poetic justice, if you will, for Alberto Del Rio. But then again, the outcome was never in doubt because we all know Cena's taking time off because he's going to be filming a sports, fitness, reality type show for Fox, which he's going to be the host of. So if you haven't read the dirt sheets, but that's all there is to it. And I said last night that whoever wound up taking the challenge was going to win the title, and that's exactly what happened here. Derek Ferreira went on the record in his sports blog when he previewed this event. He said that it was going to be Tyler Breeze. It wasn't Tyler Breeze. Way too soon for that. He just got there, for goodness sakes. Michael Bullock pointed out a dirt sheet during our show last night when he said that Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer had reported that it was possibly going to be Samoa Joe. Obviously, that's not happening because it's obvious now, if you haven't read the NXT spoilers lately, Samoa Joe will be turning heel, and it looks like Samoa Joe is they're obviously going to start a feud, an NXT heavyweight championship feud between Samoa Joe and the current champion Finn Balor, which I think is going to be all kinds of awesome. So you heard that here first. But nonetheless, though, it's so wonderful to see Alberto Del Rio back. I'm glad that they worked something out. I knew the Lucha Underground thing wasn't working for him as Alberto El Patron, but it's so great to see him back. And this definitely is a major shot in the arm for the roster because, with Cena taking time off and Randy Orton currently out with an injury, I definitely feel that with Del Rio back, it's definitely going to help matters. No question about that. So, in the pairing with Coulter, like I said, Fletch, I am beyond intrigued, and I cannot wait to see how this pairing pays off with Del Rio and Coulter. Should be interesting. It's a 2 to 2.5 star fight. That's the best I can give it. Not one of the better Cena U.S. Open Challenge fights, but it was solid for what it was. And congratulations and welcome. And not only is it congratulations, but it's also welcome back Alberto Del Rio to the WWE. And in the immortal words of one of our all-time favorite announcers, Fletch, good old JR, he always said it best: business has picked up. Amen. Let's move on.
Okay, Alberto Del Rio is a really interesting choice, no doubt about it. But the problem I got is he under contract with AAA in Mexico? Because if he is under contract, we gotta sell a turkey. Because remember, he is the reigning, defending AAA heavyweight champion of the world. He is the mega champion, which is in their terms the AAA heavyweight champion of the world. Now he is in WWE. He won the United States title. What does that mean for him now? And Anthony, you were saying, it wasn't working out with Lucha Underground. The problem is it wasn't that he was with Lucha Underground. He has to deal with AAA, which is down in Mexico. He's got to deal with Joaquin Rodan, Damian Rodan, that whole Marcela. You got to deal with them. They're the ones that actually brings Lucha Underground and everything else. So that's why that came out. But the thing that I'm kind of thinking in the back of my mind was, yes, we heard rumors about WWE trying to offer Alberto Del Rio a position. But remember, why did Del Rio get fired in the first place by WWE? Because he went after one of their agents and went after one of their guys because of the fact that supposedly one of the guys backstage made some racially charged comments. And plus, on top of that, Alberto Del Rio said some very, I'm going to say, not so flattering things about Vince McMahon or the crew, well, especially Vince McMahon, almost to the point that he called him a racist at Triple Mania on 19, which was 1 year ago when he made his return to professional wrestling. He had just got fired from WWE. He showed up at that event, and on that night he couldn't wrestle because remember, there's a 90 days clause that he could not get any physical altercation, even though he got into it with Perro de Mal leader, the late El Hijo de Perro, and he got into it with him during that event. And then right in December, he actually went for the AAA championship, won the belt, and has been the champion ever since. What happens to the AAA belt now? What happens now that he's with WWE? So there's a lot going on right now that needs to scratch the surface. So yes, there's that. On top of that, the fight was 7 minutes and 45 seconds. To me, this was a 2.25, 2.5 star fight. I'm going to give you that. But the way that this has come down, this was more shocking than anything else, that this is how it played out. And wow is what I would say. What's going to happen in the very near future? We will wait and see. How is Del Rio now as United States heavyweight champion? How is this going to play out? Like I said, we'll have to wait and see. But one thing is for sure, this was a phenomenal match, to say the very least. So with that said, we move on to the first of two Hell in a Cell fights tonight. It was Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt. And the winner of the Hell in a Cell fight was Roman Reigns at 23 minutes and 7 seconds. All right, guys. I got to pull the trigger. This was between 4 and 4.5 stars. I'm not giving it the full 5. And I know, Anthony, you might be like, what? Why is it not getting the full 5? The reason why it's not getting the full 5 was because it was slow in certain parts. It was slow to start, but man, when it got going, holy cow, did it get going. I mean, you want to talk about fights? I mean, we brought candlesticks. It went outside of the cage. It went all over the place. A chair was even used. It was violence personified. And then, you know, it almost had the feeling of a tables, ladders, and chairs fight, a TLC fight. You know, I mean, it went absolutely crazy how this fight turned out. I mean, this was absolutely a phenomenal match. Roman Reigns gets it with the spear. Great ending to a match. I mean, like I said, to me, this was 4 to 4.5 stars. And I gotta say it, you know, maybe I know a lot of people will be like, oh, maybe top fight of the night. I'm gonna say it like this. This was without a doubt, maybe it has to go down, at least in my opinion, as probably one of the greatest Hell in a Cell fights I've ever seen. I mean, I could even say this deserves top 5 recognition for one of the greatest Hell in a Cell fights of all time. So let me just put that out there. I know we still got another Hell in a Cell fight later in the evening, but this one was absolutely phenomenal in my eyes. Anthony Florio, I give it to you.
Oh man. Well, I got into ProWrestling.net, so I do have the time of all the falls here. So Fletcher, you don't have to worry about that anymore. Yes, the Del Rio Cena was 7 minutes and 45 seconds. That is correct. However, I have a different time from yours. You said you have 23:07. I had this clocked in on my end at 22 minutes and 5 seconds. That's how I had it. But it doesn't matter how long it was. We are in agreement, Fletch. I'm going to say it like this. well, I might shock some people here when I say this, but I got to say this was by a smidge. I got to say this was the fight of the night because I thought this was absolutely fantastic. I'm gonna go just a smidge on the rating here, Fletch. You said 4 to 4.5. Well, I'm gonna give it 4.25 to 4.5 stars. Not quite the 5. You don't have to worry. I'm not offended at all. I know you're saying you're probably thinking I was going to give it the 5, but no. I do agree. I mean, it was slow in some areas. You're right, but once the action picked up, the crowd got into it. Some of the sickest bumps I've ever seen. I know if we had done the commentary, Fletch, you would have had quite a few Joey Styles moments. Let's just say that you would have been doing the "oh my god," like what 2, 3, 4 times during that fight because there was some of the sickest bumps I ever saw. I mean, just absolutely amazing. I mean, no blood, that's fine, but we got what we wanted anyway. I mean, it was a physical, smash mouth, be a man fight, and I knew this was going to be an amazing fight. I knew it would be. I told you all last night when I did my preview video with Bullock. Fletch, I don't know if you saw it. I hope you did, but if you didn't, I'll reiterate it. I said I had a damn good feeling about both of these Hell in a Cell matches, and they both delivered. I'm going to be honest with you. I thoroughly enjoyed both of those Hell in a Cell matches tonight. They were both amazing. But I got to say, this one here, with Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt, I got to say was just a smidge better. Even though I enjoyed the other one, this one was just as amazing. I mean, I don't know. I mean, top 5, Fletch. I think you're reaching a little bit on that one, considering some of the other great Hell in a Cell matches of all time. You know, of course, the end of an era will forever be the greatest. Let's not kid ourselves. WrestleMania 28. I mean, no one's going to touch that. Of course, you have the inaugural Hell in a Cell match, Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. That's also in my top 5. Lesnar and Taker from the No Mercy in 02. That's also there. Of course, The Undertaker and Mick Foley or Mankind in 98, The King of the Ring. I mean, you got to consider that. And of course, Triple H and Shawn Michaels from the Bad Blood, the longest Hell in a Cell match of all time, 47 minutes and 26 seconds. I mean, those to me are my top 5 right now. I think this, however, could be in the top 10, though. No doubt about it. Top 5, I think you're reaching a bit, Flex, with all due respect. But I mean, could it be in the top 10? Certainly. Because, I mean, the levels of physicality and violence we saw in this match and the bumps that we saw, I mean, all those table bumps, I mean, just amazing. And hats off to Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt. A job well done, indeed. I agree this is the fight of the night. But as far as top 5 greatest Hell in a Cell matches go, I want to agree with you on that, but not quite, considering those legendary Hell in a Cell matches that I just mentioned in my top 5. So, top 5, no, not quite. Top 10, maybe, very possible. 4.25 to 4.5 stars, fight of the night, without question. I give you that, Fletch, but that's all I can say on that. So, what's next for these two? Well, I got a little interesting scenario come later in the night, if you know what I mean. So with that said, Fletch, nothing left to say, man. Let's just move on to the next match, which I'll start it off on.
Yes, indeed. We're going to start it off right now. It is for the WWE Tag Team Championships. It is the New Day versus the Dudley Boys, the winner of the bout, and still the WWE Tag Team Champions, the New Day, as Kofi Kingston pins Bubba Ray Dudley after hitting the Trouble in Paradise, the time of the fall. Now, this is unofficially, according to 411mania.com, 8 minutes, 24 seconds is what I have. Anthony, it's all yours.
You said 8:24, right, Fletch, on that?
Yes.
Well, 1 second. Well, mine's 1 second over. I have it at 8 minutes and 25 seconds, according to ProWrestling.net. That's where I guess
I guess we could say this is more like estimates more than anything else, because there's not anybody who got like an accurate clock here.
Of course, but I'll say it like this: I'm going to give it a solid 2.5 stars for the effort. New Day finds another way. I mean, Biggie Langston and Kofi Kingston were without Xavier Woods, who was obviously selling the attack from the Dudleys some time ago, or last week rather. But I hate to say it, but the Dudleys are losing steam, man. I mean, we hardly get to hear from Bubba Ray Dudley, and right now they feel like a nostalgia act, even though the fans didn't really see them that way initially. I always thought of them as such myself, but I mean, it was a fine match for what it was, but it could have been a little bit better, to be honest. And why didn't they make this a tables match? Well, I got an interesting possibility here. I got a feeling that we're not done yet. I got a feeling this thing's gonna keep. I got a feeling this is gonna stretch out just a little bit longer, if you know what I mean. I wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing something maybe at Survivor Series. I mean, next month in Atlanta. I mean, there's a feeling in my bones here. I mean, there was a dirt sheet that came out some time ago about that involved Bubba Ray Dudley. And I mean, he talked about the possibility of maybe, the third Dudley boy, Spike Dudley. I mean, there was a possibility. I don't know if there's a possibility that that little Spike or Brother Runt, if you will, could be on his way back. I mean, I did read a rumor about that. I'm trying to find it right now. But what I do know right now is that, like I said, I don't think this feud is over. I really don't. I think this thing's gonna stretch out a little bit more. And like I said, I think it's gonna be at Survivor Series. And if that's true, what I think could happen, what I think could really happen, Fletch, is if Spike does indeed come back, we could see what we saw in 2002 at that Survivor Series. 6-man tag team action with those three members and have Spike possibly counteract Xavier Woods. Now, will that happen? I don't know, but it's a very realistic possibility, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, considering that dirt sheet that I came across recently about Bubba Dudley, talking about maybe Spike coming in. I mean, that would be awesome. Perhaps we put the belts on the line and we have a 6-man tables elimination match, like we saw. You remember back in 2002 at the Survivor Series. You remember that. So, but we'll see. We'll see. You never know. I can't find that dirt sheet right now. I'll try my best to find it, but and then I'll get back to you on that. But for right now, I can only give this. You know what? I think I'm going to give it more between 2.25 to 2.5, if I'm being quite honest with you, because it was a solid match for what it was. But I don't think we've seen the last of the Dudleys in the New Day. I got a feeling this thing's gonna stretch out into Survivor Series. So I don't know how Fletch thinks about that, but Fletch, I got to ask the question that I normally ask Bullock. How do you follow that?
Well, I'll follow it like this. It was a 2.5-star fight, no doubt about it. I agree with that. It was kind of, like you said, it was a weird fight. Even though, I mean, they had to bring the trombone into the fight. Yeah, okay, fine, whatever. I mean, I'm not going to make any big thing about it. But at the end of the day, it basically was one of those where the referee had their back turned. Biggie Langston hits it on levels Bubba with the broken trombone. And then the next thing you know, Kofi hits Bubba with the Trouble in Paradise and gets a 3 count and steals the victory. I mean, is it good? Yeah, fine, whatever. I think we all can agree it was a solid fight. I did hear the rumors about little Spike Dudley possibly coming to WWE. I heard it as well. I think we all can agree with that. That it would be pretty awesome to have a 6-man table fight. And yes, I know where you were going with it about 2002 and the Survivor Series in front. So I mean, we'll wait and see what happens. But it is what it is, and we'll just move on. And then the next fight that we're going to talk about is for the WWE Divas Championship, as Charlotte puts the belt on the line against Nikki Bella, and the winner of the bout, and still the WWE Divas Champion, Charlotte Flair. She gets the figure 8 on Nikki, and Nikki taps out at 10 minutes and 45 seconds. Let me just say this. Tonight, the Diva Revolution is back, and it's better. And you know, we've been slamming it for a little bit because there's been a couple of ho-hum diva fights. They haven't really given us many great opportunities here. Tonight they went back to the basics and absolutely delivered what I believe was a tremendous fight. At least in my eyes, this was a great match. One of the top fights of the night. I could probably say maybe the number 3 fight of the night in my eyes. And this was a 3.25 star fight. I mean, 10 minutes and 45 seconds approximately. Whoever would have thought that a Diva match was going to get 10 minutes, let alone it being on a pay-per-view for a championship? Bravo, WWE, and kudos to you guys for absolutely nailing this one tonight. I thought you guys did a phenomenal job with this fight. The way that this was laid out, I loved the premise. I thought this was absolutely amazing. I have nothing bad to say about it. Nikki Bella looked absolutely sharp tonight. She looked really good in her action. Charlotte Flair, we all know how amazing she's been in the ring. She gets the figure 8 victory. But now, where do you go from here? You got Sasha Banks. Paige might be in the mix as the next contender. Because I think now with Nikki losing that fight, I think she's out of the picture for a little bit. So now maybe does Brie step up and say that, hey, I want my shot at the belt? Does Alicia Fox take the opportunity? But right now, I think the top 2 that, in my mind, will probably be the next in line for a Diva title shot would be, like I said, Paige or the boss, Sasha Banks. So with that said, Anthony Florio, talk about the fight and then talk about who you believe might be the next in line for the Diva title.
So you want me to go into professor mode, huh? Okay, I can do that.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
All right. Okay. Oh boy, I always love when I get permission to go into professor mode. Yeah, this is my specialty. Okay. I definitely agree with you on the match, Fletch. This was a very good Divas Championship match. One of the better WWE Diva fights we've seen in a long time. It was not a 5-star classic, like the 2 5-star classics we've seen with Bayley and Sasha Banks at the last 2 NXT TakeOver events. 1A, 1B right there as far as I'm concerned. I do agree with you on the rating, 3 to 3.25 stars. I definitely agree with you. The time of the fall I have on my end, you have 10:45. I have it as 10:40 on my end, 10 minutes and 40 seconds on my end. But still, this was a fantastic Divas match. I got to say this match was better than the Night of Champions match, if I'm being honest with you. Because, there was a little more this time around. That suplex spot towards the end of the match. Wow. That was incredible how she hit that. And then Nikki Bella, Nikki dominated most of the fight. But then, Charlotte had some moments. And like I said, that suplex spot was just out of this world. And then all of a sudden, we see Nikki Bella going for the rack attack. And then an amazing counter by Charlotte Flair. Dragging her down into a crucifix style and then setting up and then somehow managing to get the figure 8 locked in and just having enough to get the bridge up and then getting the win. So fantastic match and one of the better WWE Diva fights we've seen in a while. I agree with you on the rating, Fletch. It is 3 to 3.25 stars. Now, as far as who I feel could be next in line, a lot of possibilities. I think it's very obvious. Nikki Bella is going to be going to the back of the bus, if you will, the back of the line. So Nikki's going to have to wait her turn for a while, and I, for one, could not be any happier about that. maybe Brie Bella could be next. I mean, there is a possibility. I mean, she is a former champion in her own right, as is Alicia Fox, although that was 5 years ago when A Fox held it. The two very likely ones, yeah. I mean, Paige. I mean, to me, I think Paige is the most likely. I mean, because yeah, they may have been all lovey-dovey tonight, PCB and all that stuff back together for the moment. But maybe starting tomorrow night on Raw, we could, start planting the seeds for that. I don't know. We'll see. Sasha Banks, very realistic possibility. I mean, I think she's definitely. I mean, to me, when it comes down to it, I have a top five. You know how TNA had their world title rankings, Fletch, and they had their top five, contenders for the World Heavyweight Championship down there. Well, I'm going to give you a top five. Well, but only this time it's in no particular order. So keep that in mind. This is not necessarily how I feel it's going to go, but I'll say it like this: the top five for me, the top five contenders and most likely challengers for Sasha Banks, or I should say for Charlotte rather, are as follows. In no particular order now. Naomi. Can't forget about Naomi. Sasha Banks, obviously. Brie Bella. Paige. And there was one other I had in mind. Brie and Paige, no doubt. Brie, Paige, no doubt about it. Sasha, Naomi. Actually, I think it's more like a top four, not really a top five. So to me, I think Paige, Sasha Banks, Brie Bella, and Naomi. Those, to me, one of those four, I feel is most likely the next challenger for Charlotte Flair in the Divas Championship. But I'm going to be honest with you, Flex. I don't see a Divas Championship match at Survivor Series. Considering that we still have this whole faction thing, it wouldn't surprise me if, considering the tradition of the Survivor Series, it wouldn't surprise me if we get some sort of a traditional Survivor Series elimination match involving the Divas in some way. Or then again, maybe we could have what we had last year. Maybe we could have two Diva fights on the card. Because remember, we had a traditional Survivor Series elimination match with the Divas 4-on-4. And we also had a Diva title matchup. So I could possibly see that happening again this year. Maybe Charlotte Flair will have a challenger. And then with the other Divas, give them something to do and give them a major pay-per-view payday. Maybe have the other Divas maybe involved in some sort of traditional Survivor Series elimination matchup. That's just how I feel. So, as I always like to say, read into that what you will, or as Derek would like to say, take it with a grain of salt. But that's just coming from me. That's coming from me. No dirt sheet whatsoever. 3 to 3 1/4 stars. One of the fights of the night. I agree with you, Fletch. Paige, Sasha, Brie, and Naomi. Those, to me, are the most likely next possible challengers for Charlotte and the Divas title. Let's move on to our next match, which I'll be starting off with.
The next fight we got is for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins puts the title on the line against the Demon Kane. If Seth Rollins wins, then Corporate Kane is fired as the Director of Operations of Raw Wrestling Entertainment, the winner of the bout, and still the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Seth Rollins. The time of the fall, unofficially 14 minutes and 41 seconds, as he gets the pedigree on the Demon Kane for the 1, 2, 3. Anthony Florio, like you said, you lead off.
Yes, I do. And outcome was not a surprise. I cannot say I'm surprised whatsoever as far as the outcome was concerned. As far as the rating goes, it was a fine match. It was a fine match for what it was. On my end, I had it as 14 minutes and 40 seconds. What was it on your end, Fletch? I had 14:40. As far as the time of the fall goes.
Yeah, it is about close. I got like 14:41, so it's like about a second difference.
1 second. Okay, another 1 second difference. Okay. 14 minutes, 40 seconds was what I had on my end. Yeah, outcome was never in doubt. You knew Rollins was going to go over. I mean, did you really think they were going to put the title on Kane? For goodness sakes, no, I did not. But I'll give it to this. Kane put up a good effort here. I mean, he had a couple of near falls, but I'm going to be honest with you, there was not really any high Shakespearean drama that we come to love. But as far as I'm concerned, though, I'm going to give it between 2.5 to 3 stars at the absolute best. That's the best I can go as far as this match is concerned. I probably would say maybe 4th or 5th best fight of the night, if I'm going to be honest. And I guess we could call it the Seth Rollins old timer tour continues. I mean, we saw it with Sting at the Night of Champions last month, 56 years old, and then going up against 48-year-old Kane in this fight. So the corporate Kane character is finally gone. Thank God for that, because that character was beyond tired and played out, beyond the point of go away. Now he can be the Demon Kane on a full-time, permanent basis now, which I think is wonderful. So who's next for Rollins? Well, that's the million-dollar question. Unfortunately, I cannot give you an answer right now, because I really don't think that Kane, considering now that the corporate Kane character is gone, we'll just have to wait and see. And hey, Rollins actually wins clean for a change. I mean, we had a couple of rarities tonight. I mean, first we see Cena lose clean, which happens never. But I mean, he actually put Del Rio over cleanly, so that which was as refreshing a sight as you can ever see. And then as far as this fight is concerned, Rollins wins clean as well. I mean, it's only the third real time I've seen Rollins win clean. I mean, obviously the Money in the Bank match, the ladder match with Dean Ambrose at Money in the Bank in June in Columbus, and then of course the Night of Champions with Sting. I mean, that was a clean victory pretty much, and this was a clean win here too. So fine match. It felt like a TV quality main event, like a Monday Night Raw type main event, if I'm being honest with you. But it's a 2. The best I can give it is between 2.5 and 3. That's the best I can go as far as this fight is concerned. So like I said, outcome was never in doubt. But the million-dollar question now, Fletch, is who's next? Who's going to be that next number 1 contender for Seth Rollins and the coveted WWE World Heavyweight Championship, possibly at Survivor Series? Good question. I just don't know. That's all yours.
I don't think there's gonna be a WWE title fight at Survivor Series. Let's just say it like that. I hope not. Not this time around. I don't think you really need to do it. I think you can promote it the way that you want to. Yes, it was a clean victory for Seth Rollins. He did win the fight. I could give it about 2 3/4 of a star to 3. Is my rating for the fight. I thought it was good for what it was worth. I think they did what they needed to do. It takes corporate Kane out of the picture now, which will probably be a big sigh of relief for Stephanie and for Triple H and the Authority, now that they know that they could just focus on the job at hand and do whatever they need to do. But for me, I'm happy. I'm happy that Rollins won. He deserves it. Yeah, I mean, I've been very critical about what he has done as WWE World Heavyweight Champion, but that's kind of more of me being more of a smart than anything else. But he won the fight. He earned it. He won clean, which is surprise. But you were right about it. I mean, you could have seen this on Monday Night Raw or Thursday Night SmackDown, something like that. But it delivered for all the right reasons, and that's why I think I'm not gonna flash or pan this or rip it hardcore about it, because I thought they did a good job with this. So with that said, I was pretty impressed. 2 3/4 of a star to 3 stars is my rating for it. We're gonna go right into the next fight, which was for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. The champion Kevin Owens puts the title on the line against Ryback, and the winner of the bout is Kevin Owens. He keeps the belt. Pop-up powerbomb at 5 minutes and 36 seconds. I'm sorry, guys. By default, this was worst fight of the night. This was more of a cool down fight than anything else. It was okay for what it was worth. I mean, I liked some of the action that went down. It really picked up the pace towards the end, where it looks like Ryback was going for to try to win the title, but Kevin Owens catches him with the pop-up powerbomb and absolutely nails him with it for the 1, 2, 3. I can get this about 1 3/4 to maybe on the fringe of 2 stars, but other than that, I thought this was okay for what it was worth. But this was definitely an absolute cool down fight after seeing two pretty good fights leading into it, because the Charlotte versus Nikki Bella was really good. So was Kane versus Seth Rollins. I thought they put in quite a good effort, and plus they needed something to cool us down, because the next fight behind it was the fight that we were waiting for. So this was a good match for what it was worth. It filled the time that it needed it to fill, but at the end of the day, that's it. Nothing more to say. Kevin Owens wins it. He keeps the belt. Anthony, it is yours.
You said 1.5 to 2, right, Fletch, on that?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. 1.5 to 2 stars. I do agree with you. This is the worst fight of the night. I mean, 5 minutes, and I believe on my it's 5 minutes and 40 seconds on my end. And I found that dirt sheet, by the way, the one about Bubba Ray Dudley talking about a possible return of Spike. He was on the Pod Nasty Wrestling podcast to promote the Hell in a Cell event. And he said, and I quote, "If we ever needed Spike, if we ever needed our little brother, if we ever needed the run of the litter, like I said, he's no more than a phone call away, and he'd be right there by our side." And I think the WWE Universe would go absolutely crazy to see Bubba, Devon, and Spike standing together in the same ring again. Amen to that, no doubt about it. But getting back to this, Owens, I'm not at all surprised Owen won. That was another no big surprise. He won it with the pop-up powerbomb. I'm not surprised by that either. And, it was an okay fight for what it was, but, it was just way too short for our liking. Felt like a TV quality match as well, like you would see on a Raw or a SmackDown. 5 minutes and 40 seconds. So yeah, I agree with you, Fletch. 1.5 to 2 is the best I can give it. And I do agree it's also the worst fight of the night. So with that said, Fletch, main event time. And this is the one the world's been waiting for, man. One of the most anticipated Hell in a Cell matches of all time, man. And I'm so honored that I get to lead off on it. So set the table, Fletch.
A road of 18 months culminated with this one battle. The Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar one more time. The fight started at WrestleMania 30 when Brock Lesnar broke the streak of The Undertaker. We fast forward to SummerSlam at the Barclays Center this past August, and The Undertaker got a measure of revenge and won via controversially. Now, in the rubber fight, there was only one way this trilogy had to end: by playing in Satan's playground. 2 tons of pure steel, 20 to 25 feet high, with a roof on top of it. We call it Hell in a Cell. And when it was all said and done, the winner of the fight at 18 minutes and 11 seconds unofficially was the Beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
Derek Ferreira has already posted his review on the sports blog, and he called this the fight of the night and gave it 4.25 stars. With all due respect to Derek Ferreira, I have to slightly disagree. Second best fight of the night for me. However, I'm somewhat agreed with the rating. I'm going to meet them halfway here. I'm going to give this between 4 to 4.25 stars and say that this was the second best fight of the night for me. I just thought by a smidge the Reigns and Wyatt fight was better because it had more time. Time of the fall I have on my end was 18 minutes and 5 seconds, but, unofficially. But another excellent match with The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar. I mean, and you know what the best part of this was, Fletch? We got blood. We got blood. We got color, man. We got color. I know somewhere Vince McMahon was probably having a heart attack or whatever. And if Mimi Jean was still around, the infamous Mimi. Blood in a Hell in a Cell match? That's not PG. Oh, no. It was not PG at all. Both men bled. Taker bled. Lesnar bled. Now, it may not have been as bloody as the 2002 match at No Mercy when they fought for the title, which I thought was a 5-star classic, chock full of Shakespearean drama, but this was just as amazing. I mean, I still think that No Mercy fight was a bit better, but this was just as good. I mean, great near falls. I mean, and Lesnar ripped up the ring. He literally ripped up the ring, tried to expose, the board, tried to expose those wooden boards that, which is, used for the ring and stuff. But F5s, choke slams, tombstones, blood. I mean, I can honestly say this was, to me, all time, the second best fight of the Taker and Lesnar series. The best one, to me, will always be that Hell in a Cell they had at No Mercy 2002. That's forever the greatest match those two ever had against each other. Because that was a 5-star to me. Not quite here, but 4 to 4 1/4 stars. It's the second best fight of the night. Now, here's the thing, though. Lesnar and Heyman leave, and then Taker wills his way back up on his own power. And a crowd gives him a standing ovation. He goes down on one knee. You think we're going to get that vintage Undertaker down on one knee moment. Not so fast. Out comes the new Wyatt family. Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, the recently returned Eric Rowan, and my man, my favorite Wyatt family member, the Freak, Braun Strowman. You know how high up on him I am. Those 4 circle the ring like the vultures that they are. And then we get a beatdown of The Undertaker. They take Taker away. And you know what? There's nothing left for me to say except I think we have ourselves a match for Survivor Series, because now you know The Undertaker is going to be a part of Survivor Series. They promoted it. If you watched it on the network or pay-per-view tonight, they did the promotion for Survivor Series. 25 years of Undertaker. And I think it's only fitting that you remember Survivor Series in 1990 when he debuted. It was as part of a traditional Survivor Series elimination matchup when he teamed as part of the $1 Million Team with the $1 Million Man, Teddy DiBiase, the Honky Tonk Man, and Great the Hammer Valentine, who were known as Rhythm and Blues at the time. When they went up against the Dream Team of the late great American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, God rest his soul, the Hart Foundation, Bret the Hitman Hart, Jim the Emerald Neidhart, who were the tag champions at the time, and of course the Birdman, Coco Beware. Can you say traditional Survivor Series elimination match at Survivor Series? All 4 members of the Wyatt, I think it's going to be a 4-on-4 match this time around. All 4 members of the Wyatt family, Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, Braun Strowman, against on the other side, a team captained by The Undertaker, and his partners are simple as this: Kane, Demon Kane, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose.
Perfect.
Need I say more?
Perfect.
4 to 4
That's
and a
the
quarter
perfect
stars.
match.
It's 4 to 4 1/4 stars, Fletch. I can't quite give it the fight of the night. I can only give it the second best fight of the night. I just thought Reigns and Wyatt was just a smidgen better than this. But this was fantastic, though. Another job well done. And in a way, it kind of felt like an end of an era to me because of Taker and Lesnar and the wars that they had. But job well done, guys. And the commentary even was top-notch during and after the fight, especially JBL to me. So that was just awesome. That was just a cherry on top. So with all that said, the second best fight of the night, 4 to 4 1/4 stars. Taker, Kane, Reigns, Ambrose against the Wyatts, traditional Survivor Series elimination match. Book it. Fletcher, go.
There's nothing more to say. You absolutely nailed you actually nailed this on the head. This was a 4-star fight for me. This was a great Hell in a Cell fight. Yes, we did see blood. Derek Barrera absolutely went absolutely bonkers on Facebook tonight, and I kind of said, "Oh, that's not PG," and he absolutely ripped me. He's like, "The hell with PG," especially with this pay-per-view. I was like, "There's only 2 pay-per-views that we actually could say we're glad that there's no PG." This pay-per-view would be one of them, and the Extreme Rules. Any other time, I don't really give it, you know what? Even TLC, I think we can all agree, that should not be PG at all either. But back to the job at hand. This was a tremendous fight. There's no doubt about it. 4 stars is my rating. These guys absolutely tore the freaking roof off, and it was an amazing main event, an amazing fight. I got so much respect for Undertaker and for Brock Lesnar. And then, yeah, I mean, it was really weird. Why did the Wyatt family go after Taker after the fight? But I think, like you said, Anthony, I think it has to do with because of the fact that The Undertaker beat Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. If you remember, these 2 guys went at it, and the new face of fear went up against the Phenom himself, the Legend, and the Legend won. Maybe that was probably one of those where it just left a little bitter taste in Bray Wyatt's mouth, and he just needed to salvage or whatever. Or maybe they might be thinking of making the Undertaker a sacrifice. I mean, it's possible. I mean, you don't know what's in the deranged mind of one Bray Wyatt, but I think what we might have here is somebody becoming a human sacrifice in the name of Sister Abigail, if you know what I mean. I mean, we remember back in the old days when the Ministry of Darkness proclaimed, and what did Undertaker try to do to Stone Cold Steve Austin? He tried to embalm him right before our very eyes. So, I mean, who knows? I mean, then we had Stephanie McMahon basically as a black bride almost got sacrificed to The Undertaker in an unholy marriage. Thank God Stone Cold Steve Austin saved her that night, but still, I mean, anything can happen in WWE. And if they start trying to go that threshold and try to push try to push the envelope a little bit, I think I am all for that, to say the very least. So with that said, this was amazing. Great show, great event. It's time for overall review, which I get to lead off on. And other than the Ryback versus Kevin Owens fight, every other fight was about near 3 stars. So for me, this was a successful pay-per-view. And as such, Anthony, I am going to give this the official rating of between 8 and 8.5. I thought they did a tremendous job tonight, and WWE deserves a good round of applause. I thought they did a tremendous job with this pay-per-view, to say the very least. So 8 to 8.5 is my official rating. Anthony, we got about 4 minutes left, so why don't you give us your thoughts about the overall body of work of tonight's pay-per-view?
Yeah, and I also wanted to get your quick thoughts on that little scenario I just came up with about that traditional Survivor Series match, which I'm thinking about, with the Wyatts against.
I actually agreed with you. I think I said yes to it when I said perfect at the beginning before we went.
All right, yeah. I just wanted to be sure on that. I wanted to get some thoughts about that, but it's a shame Bullock couldn't be with us because I wanted to get his thoughts on it too. But I'll get his thoughts on that soon enough when I see him tomorrow. But nonetheless, though, this is I 100% agree with you, Flex. I mean, 8 to 8.5 out of 10 is the correct rating for this pay-per-view tonight. Both Hell in a Cell matches, top 2 fights of the night. Reigns and Wyatt was a smidge better, 4.25, 4.5. Taker Lesnar second best at 4 to 4.25. Can't believe I'm saying this, but the Divas fight was actually the 3rd best fight of the night. I mean, 3 to 3.25 stars on that count. And then right around the 4 or 5 hole, you had, I say 4th best fight was probably Rollins and Kane, solid 2, about I could probably give that a solid 3 now that I think about it. And then Cena and Del Rio, about 2.25, 2.5 there. And same thing. I could say the same thing about the tag team title fight, and then the worst fight of the night, obviously Owens and Ryback. So 1.5 to 2, 8 to 8.5 out of 10. And now, Fletch, all I can say is let the road to my favorite pay-per-view of the year begin, man. The Survivor Series. Yes, I'm so excited. I cannot wait for the Survivor Series. You know how much I love this event. So, give me at least 2. I'm hoping we get more than 1 traditional Survivor Series match. I'm praying to God for that. That'd be freaking great. You know what? That's all I can say on that. So, what a night indeed. And of course, the only thing I can come up with for Survivor Series right now, that Team Undertaker versus Team Wyatt family traditional Survivor Series elimination match. That's a no doubt about it for me. I think we're going to get some sort of Divas traditional Survivor Series match as well. And maybe we could also throw in a Diva title match with Charlotte against whoever her next challenger is. Maybe a world title match with Rollins. I don't know. We'll see. But all I know is Survivor Series is a month away, man. Atlanta, GA, the ATL, Phillips Arena. I, for one, cannot wait. My favorite event of the year is the next event on the calendar. Oh, I'm so excited. All right, Fletch, let's put a bow on this.
We will put a bow on this, and we will say it like this. Tomorrow night is another edition of the Wrestling Forum on the Toad 25. It will be myself, Anthony Florio, and Michael Bullock as we recap everything that has to do with WWE Monday Night Raw, the fallout from Hell in a Cell, and yes, indeed, we will be on the road to Survivor Series. With that said, we thank you so much for watching this tonight. Please leave a comment at the bottom. Please like this video, and plus, keep it posted for anything Wrestling Forum on Anthony Florio's page, on my page. We'll have everything. Please check out Derek Ferrera's sports blog site as well. And with that said, we say thank you so much. Have a good night, everybody. From East Providence, Rhode Island, for Anthony Florio, I'm Michael Fletcher. How's the hand pounds? We out. We'll see you tomorrow night for another edition of the Wrestling Forum. Good night, and we'll see you soon.